Hello friends, this is Akash. Today I'm here to discuss some information on pandemic and epidemic. As the fear of coronavirus is growing day by day in Wuhan city, it is very important to have correct information about such pandemic and epidemic which have occurred in the past also. So let's have a discussion on this of the various such kind of epidemic which have occurred. So the first thing is Justinian plague, which occurred in 541 to 542 AD. The location was Europe, Egypt, and West Asia. Around 50 to 100 million people were died at that time. And at that time, world's total population was around 200 million. So almost or approximately 40 to 50% of the world's population was wiped out. Very terrific. You can also have a look at some of the pictures on the screen. Let's move on to the next information, that is about Black Death Plague, which occurred in 1331 to 1353. And this plague was spread due to the mouse, and the location was Europe, Asia, North America. Around 75 to 200 million people were died at that time. The world's total population at that time was around 350 million. So almost or about 40 to 60% of world's population was wiped out due to this plague. You can see some of the pictures on the screen, and let's move on to the next information. Coquelicet epidemic occurred in 1545 to 1548. Location, Mexico. Around 10 to 15 million people died, and at that time world's total population was around 450 million. That is approximately 4 to 6% of the world's population was wiped out due to this epidemic. You can see some of the pictures on the screen. Let's move on to the next information. Spanish flu. Very horrible and terrifying. It was pandemic which occurred in 1918 to 1920. Location was worldwide, and almost 100 million people were died in this catastrophic situation. World's population at that time was around 1.7 billion. Approximately 6 to 7% of world's population was wiped out due to Spanish flu. You can see some of the pictures on the screen. Let's move on to the next information. HIV or AIDS pandemic. This pandemic is still there in this world, and people are suffering from HIV AIDS. This occurred in 1960 and it's still present even today. Location, it started in Congo Basin and it spread all over the world. Around 45 million have died so far, and 146,000 deaths happen every year due to HIV. World's population at that time was around 3 billion, so approximately 1.5 to 2% of the population was wiped out due to this pandemic. And this pandemic occurred due to chimpanzees. So it was transferred from chimpanzees to the human, and very horrifying pandemic. Let's move on to the next information. Let's talk about India's worst epidemic so far in the history. Year 1881 to 1896, cholera was spread all over India, and almost more than 9,000 people were died at that time. In 1896 to 1901, bubonic plague was spread, and it was very horrible situation in Mumbai, which is called as Mumbai now. So at that time, per day, around 1,200 people with death used to occur at that time. You can see one picture which is in black and white. So in that year, in Mumbai or Bombay, 70% of the population used to live in slum, in small huts and small house, which didn't had basic, living utilities, and the bodies and the dead bodies were lying here and there, which was getting rotted into the mouths. It was very horrible situation in Mumbai or Bombay in the year 1896 to 1901. 1974, smallpox was spread. 15,000 died due to this smallpox. 2015, Indian swine flu was spread and approximately 2,035 people died. Let's move on and let's talk about China's worst epidemic in the history. 1910 to 1912, bubonic plague, which was a pandemic, and at the same time this plague was also spread in India. In China, this plague caused 40,000 deaths. The next is 2002 to 2004, SARS coronavirus. Approximately 349 people died. In 2020, recently in Wuhan city, a new type of virus which has spread, unfortunately, and very sadly, more than 250 people have lost their life. I definitely have a pray to all those people who have lost their life, and I hope everything will get soon and well. Please take care of yourself, and we humans have in our DNA to fight back and to overcome any situation, any problem which comes in our life. Thank you very, very much for watching this. Hope you have got some information from this. Do not panic, and I have complete belief in Chinese government. They will fight back, and they will bring back the demon, which is coronavirus, and people will be safe. Thank you.